No matter your age, I'm sure you know who Charlie Brown is. And Charlie Brown's that little cartoon character that always wanted to kick the football. And what happened? Every time he tried, Lucy would pull that football away and he would fall flat on his back. Well, I have been studying the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, for several months, and there have been a few characters in there that have really spoken to me, and I want to share them with you. So this is the first in 3 vlogs about these characters. And the first one is Blind Bartimaeus. Now, you might not have heard of him, but he's a pretty cool dude. And the reason why is because in Mark 10, verses 46 through 52, we hear about blind Bartimaeus sitting on the edge of the road, and he was a beggar. And of course he couldn't see, but he could hear. And there was a crowd coming. And, he had heard from people about this Jesus, and he gathered with his good hearing that Jesus was in that crowd. So he called out to Jesus very loudly, wanting something from him. And you might be surprised at what happened. The disciples basically told him, shut up, be quiet. Because I think in their minds, they thought that Jesus had a greater purpose, a greater mission, because see, he was on his way to Jerusalem to that week, his final week, when he was going to actually be crucified. So they didn't have a full understanding of that by any means, but they knew Jesus was on a journey, a specific journey. And so they didn't think he had time for an individual. But that didn't stop Bartimaeus, just like Charlie Brown. He went after it again, and he called out even more loudly. And then Jesus heard him, and he stopped. So the crowd stopped. And Jesus didn't call to Bartimaeus. He told the disciples to call to Bartimaeus, and they did. And their tune totally changed. Man, this time they're saying, Bartimaeus, be of good courage, come. I'm thinking to myself, man, he already showed courage. If that were me and I had a group of people telling me to shut up and be quiet, that's probably what I would have done. I would have been intimidated. I wouldn't have had the courage of Bartimaeus. But boy, he did. So he came and Jesus asked him, what is it that you want? And he said, I want to be able to see. And so Jesus healed him because Jesus is always concerned about our individual needs. We don't ever have to worry that he doesn't know what's going on in our lives. But he made Bartimaeus speak it out loud. Now why? Why would he do that? Well, I believe there's lots of reasons, but just a few are. It increases his faith. Just like when we call out to the Lord for what we need, it increases our faith. It also increases our trust in him. Because when he answers, that just builds our trust that God is listening and wants to care for us. And it glorifies God, and we always want to glorify God. And you know what? It also increases our humility, and I think we all need that. I know I do. So if you have a need, if you're struggling in depression like I was, and I cried out to the Lord many, many times, like Charlie Brown trying to kick that football, do it too. You call out to the Lord over and over. He hears and he cares, and he will answer you. He will bring you healing in his perfect timing. My ministry is Living Hope because Jesus Christ is our living hope. And you can find more information about my ministry at candyrice.org. There's information about my book. And if you'd like me to come speak at your church, your organization, or a meeting, you can contact me through my website. And again, that address is candyrice.org.